So let's take you through the starting grid for Senior Rotax Heat 4, Groups B and D. Here is your starting order. On pole position, it will be Vic Stevens, who will have Lewis Gilbert alongside on the front row. Then it'll be Kai Rilats and Mario Sidler, row number 2. Mitch Haynett and Montego Masson, row 3. With Jort van Wijk, Dion van Verven, Martin van Leeuwen and William Helgstrand completing the top 10. Lotus Tween, Ilvali Tur Mileto, Leon Zelenko, Rashid Ghanem, Miska Kaskinen, Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort, Tobias Billy Clausen, Andrei Petrovic, Matteo Richter and Frederick Demant running out the top 20. Sebastian Koch, Martin Gaiskens, Alexander Walter, Nicholas Ellis, Zach Heslop, Tonis Johannes Dominguez, Giorgio Markenstein, Ivar Anagnostiadis, Jake Bezelbeck and Dante Sima rounding out the 30-strong grid. So another 10 minutes plus an additional lap of racing here at this 1,360 metre circuit. A little bit more cloud cover coming over the circuit as we speak, but still dry conditions. It has been, it was a wet race earlier on today, but the track has evolved to the point where we have seen flat chat, full throttle racing action over the course of today. So, 3 different winners so far from 3 different races. Can we continue that trend? There are drivers that are at the sharp end of the field. Rilletts has won a race. Teen has won a race. Now add to that Ethan Jeff Hall. So the drivers now in formation. Vic Stevens and Lewis Gilbert on the front row. With the likes of Rilletts, Sidler, Haynett, Marson, Van Wijk, Van Verven, Van Leeuwen and Helgstrand in the top 10. Lights are out. We are racing. Good start at the front end of the field as they hurtle their way into turns 1 and 2. Lewis Gilbert gets squeezed a little bit wide coming into the first 2 corners. But all bit of a tussle between him and Kai Rilletts coming out of turn 3 and into 4. Drivers jockeying for position. This could get very, very close and it could get a bit gnarly at the same time. 3 wide coming out of turn 6 onto the Europlan. They are fanning out towards the bottom part of the top 10. Dion van Verven, one of those drivers in the Sodi kart, is getting 2 by 2. Hurrah, side by side through turn 7. And that is not easy at the best of times. So this just goes to show, Lewis Gilbert, I think, just got through on Mitch Haynett through at turn 10, but Rilletts again hits the front end of the field. Mitch Haynett on the TB Kart Netherlands entry. Bit of a moment there for Dion van Verven. Going alongside Montego Masson coming out of the final corner. It nearly came to sidewall rubbing, and Van Verven could have become a cropper right there and then on the spot. The drivers really starting to put each other on notice. Mario Sidler trying to get the crisscross on Mitch Haynett. He's got through. I think Haynett's going to lose another position. That's to the 333. That's Jort van Wijk. So Mitch Haynett drops 2 positions from 4th to 6th at the same point. So into turn 10 they go once more. Rilletts is comfortably leading, but it's dependent on what Lewis Gilbert has in the pocket. Can he quickly get past Vic Stevens and start moving closer and closer? A couple of Dan Holland racing carts a little bit further back. I think likes of Miska Kaskinen, Matteo Richter having a good run this time. No breakdown unlike race 1 earlier on for the Czech Republic driver. The 365 started 19th. He's clawing his way up towards the top 10. So Gilbert has got past Vic Stevens for second position. So can the pride of Scotland chase down the Belgian young superstar of the future? Can he chase him down and get past him? That's the key point. Mitch Haynock's trying to get back into that top 3, top 5. He's just outside of it at the moment. Jort van Wijk ahead of Mario Sidler. That's 4th and 5th respectively. Mitch Haynock showcasing the speed of the TB kart chassis underneath him. As through they go into turn 2. Now into the left at 3. Through 4. And now 5. Into the right-hander at 6. And they're going to be pushing north of 115 kilometers per hour, heading down the iconic Europalan. Of course, the adjacent parallel road is a 90 kilometer an hour speed limit. Now ascend from Mario Sidler up the inside of Jort van Wijk. That could give the opportunity for Mitch Haynock to pull through up the inside, but yet Van Wijk returns the favour through turn 10. And look at Dion van Verven, that's ridiculous. He went round the outside of Mitch Haynock like he was standing still, did not need to use any runoff area whatsoever, and has just gone past Mario Sidler. I know Van Verven's an absolute whirling dervish on the CRG, but he's really come good with this Sodi kart. And Mitch Haynock is losing hand over fist positions. There's Van Leeuwen that's just gone through, along with Montego Marson. This is where senior Rotax, when you have pack racing, you make one mistake or someone makes a move, what can happen? You can lose 2, you can lose maybe even 4 to 5 positions in a row very quickly, depending on how many drivers there are behind you. But Van Verven just completely just licked the stamp and sent it round the outside. And Haynock, I don't think, knew what hit him. And then Montego Marson went, oh, I'll take that very much as well, thank you. A little bit further back, there's Rashid Gannon battling away in the 325. He's got Miska Kaskinen and Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort not too far behind. Kaskinen in front of Nagelvoort going across the line. And they round out the top 17 positions. So halfway through the race, there is Dion van Verven, okay, who started 8th, dropped a little bit further back, and now is up into 4th place. Martin van Leeuwen, well, I spoke to him last weekend at the Belgian Max Challenge when he was coaching the team at Shepherd's Racing. Said, yeah, it was Wesley surprised me with that one. It was a last-minute entry, but you know what? I like a bit of a challenge, and that's really good to hear. It's going to sharpen his skills even more heading into Bahrain later on this year. But he is battling away with William Haugstrand from Denmark, who is also running on the Sodi kart. Sodi kart is the official chassis provider for Senior Rotax, E20 Senior and Masters for this year's Grand Finals. Oh, and drama for Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort, who is slowing. And he's looking at the left rear. Could that have been a puncture, possibly, or an axle issue? Real shame, because he was battling for a spot in the top 15. Meanwhile, Kai Hillets has a 9/10 of a second advantage over Lewis Gilbert. Dion van Verven is the fastest driver out there. Oh, nice move there from Mario Sidler through on the inside of Jort van Wijk. Through at turn 9, who goes instantly under defensive in front of Germany's Montego Marson in the 394. So Dante Sima not taking the start either. Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort out of the kart and has parked it, I'm afraid. That's a real shame for the man from the UK. But that's just part and parcel. You get good days and you get bad days, I'm afraid, in this sport, and it's never easy. Van Verven, I'm going to be really interested to see what his pace is going to be like in comparison with those in front of him. New fastest lap. It's the Flying Finn in 15th, Miska Kaskinen, with a 55.273. I had the opportunity of commentating on him through Nordic, and I think also through RMC Nordic this year. Along with his younger brother as well, who's not too shabby behind the wheel of a senior Rotax himself. But the battle behind Dion van Verven, who is closing in, I might add, on Vic Stevens for that third place. Behind, he's got Mario Sidler, Jort van Wijk, and Montego Maassen battling away. Oh, and Jort van Wijk has got through on Sidler. Well, there's a change that Mario would not want to have, and that's for fifth place. Dion van Verven, I think, yeah, he's within lunge range of Vic Stevens for third place. William Helgstrand and Martin van Leeuwen are closing in on this trio in front of them. So this is going to be the battle for P6 between 5 different drivers. So Van Wijk, Sidler, Maassen, Helgstrand and Van Leeuwen. Then you might want to add to that, very, very shortly, possibly Mitch Haynert. And Montego Maassen gets through at turn 12 on Mario Sidler. Helgstrand now closes on in the slipstream. Oh, Dion van Verven again trying the high wide and the Hail Mary through. Oh, Vic Stevens makes a bit of a mistake and van Verven is through for third. Fourth is now in the hands of Jort van Wijk. Mistake there from Vic Stevens. He tripped over his own shoelaces. Van Verven got through. Van Wijk got through. Now Maassen. Now Sidler. And Van Leeuwen might be up next to try and get through. Well, he's got through on Helgstrand. So is Mitch Haynert. And just behind them, they have got, that is, oh, now who is that? That is a Dan Holland racing cart. Oh, that's Ivari Toimileto from Finland, managing to get into the pack. 45 seconds still remaining on the clock, plus an additional lap. Kai Rilitz's lead over Lewis Gilbert stretches to 1.3 seconds. With Dion van Verven in third place. His move round the outside of Mitch Haynert was absolutely obscene. It's one of the best moves I've actually seen at that point on the circuit. And you know what? He had full commitment. He went for it. He knew he had the chassis underneath him. And by golly, did he deliver. Coming down to the final 10 seconds of this race, plus an additional lap. Folks, there's still a lot more to go after this. So timer hits 0, and Kai Rillerts in heat number 4. Groups B versus D is the first one to see the last lap board. And the last time Rillerts was in action at this circuit was the final round of the B&L Karting Series, and also did the clean sweep there. Montego Maassen battling away into the final lap with Jort van Wijk, Mario Sidler and Vic Stevens. This is the four-way scrap over fourth place because Dion van Verven is away into the distance. And Vic Stevens tries to get the over-under done on Mario Sidler, manages to get it completed by turn 7. So Vic Stevens showcasing that he's not here just to make up the numbers, but the driver that is running away with things at the moment is now making his way into the 12th and final corner. There he is, the young man from Tremelo in Belgium. The number 374 does it again. It's another win for Kai Rillerts here at Karting Genk, ahead of the pride of Scotland, Lewis Gilbert, by just over a second. Dion van Verven from 8th to 3rd at the checkered. Great run, great overtaking prowess by the 377 in the Sodi kart. He finishes ahead of Jort van Wijk, who finished 38 thousandths in front of Germany's Montego Maassen, thereby taking 4th as the rest of the field makes their way across the start-finish line. Vic Stevens 6th ahead of Mario Sidler, Martin van Leeuwen, Mitch Haynert, William Helgstrand, Ivari Toimileto, Tobias Billy Clausen, Miska Kaskinen, Leon Zelenko, and the Czech Republic's Mateo Richter rounding out the top 15. Rashid Ghanem from the UAE ahead of Nicholas Ellis, Andrei Petrovic, Zach Heslop, Sebastian Koch round out the top 20. Martin Geiskens, Alexandru Volta, Giorgio Markestein, with Tonis Johannes Dominguez and Ivar Anagnostiidis rounding out the top 25. Lotus Tveen, Frederick Demant, Jake Bezelbeck, Dante Sima being the last of the 29 out of 30 classified finishers, finishing all 12 laps, with Brandon Klein-Nagelvort unfortunately retiring on lap 5. So it was a case of waiting to see if we were going to have 4 different heat winners in senior road tax here today on Saturday. And that was very much uncertain. But the revs rised and the lights went out once again for Heat 4 for senior road tax as Vic Stevens led the field into turn 1 with Lewis Gilbert trying to keep it pinned round the outside. And the likes of Mitch Haynert, Kai Rilletz trying to do their level best. Rilletz would eventually start to build an essential and commanding lead to win the race. Gilbert would have to try and do his utmost to get past Vic Stevens to go for second position. But then the scramble between Jort van Wijk and then this move here from Dion van Verven, placing it absolutely nicely. Coming out of turn 10 and on the run to turn 11, Van Verven got the jump. More swapping of positions as Van Wijk and Sidler again went into battle. Incorporating with that, you add Germany's Montego Masson to the mix, and then things intensify that little bit more. Jort van Wijk would return the favour to Mario Sidler a little bit later on in the race, going through turn 2, whereas Montego Masson was trying his utmost to try and get through on the Swiss driver in the 346, but to no avail. Dion van Verven would then try and make sure that he put the frighteners on to Vic Stevens, who made an unforced error, allowed Van Verven to get through, and then the floodgates started to open courtesy of Jort van Wijk. But Rilletz makes it 2 for 2 here on home soil, and everyone is finding that he is the man to catch when it comes to the Golden Trophy Senior Rotax crown this year.